Hey, hey, it's KEXP, live at home. My name is Gabriel Teodros, host of Early. It's my honor and pleasure to introduce to you Half Waif. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm really happy to be here in my
Yeah,
room talking to you.
yeah, this is live at home. That's what it is. This is how we made it through a pandemic.
hmm
You've got a new album coming, or it's out now, actually,
Just came out.
Mythopoetics, and we got a exclusive live performance. Would you like to introduce this performance and tell us like where you are? Because there's some beautiful scenery all around you and who you're playing with.
Yeah, so we went on a band retreat to a cabin in the Catskills, and we went with the express purpose of learning how to play this album live. And so while we were there rehearsing, we thought it would be the perfect time to film this and capture really in the space the feeling that we had of putting these arrangements together. There was a nest, an Eastern Phoebe nest, right next to where the drums were. So I think you can see at one point the mama bird comes in to feed the babies.
That's
And
amazing.
yeah, and there's a pond in the back. So it was very idyllic. It was good for when we needed to like blow off some steam in between rehearsals. We could just go walk around the pond and be with the birds. And I'm playing with my amazing band, Zubin, Hensler, Joanna, Schubert, and Zack Levine, who happens to be my husband. So yeah, all good friends. And Zubin and I produced Mythopoetics together. So it's really special to get to play the music live with him now.
Amazing. Halfway live on KXP at home. Let's get into it.
Take away the ache. I lie awake in the morning before the thoughts start forming. Again in my own way. Nobody's gonna save me, and I'll be disappointed. Are your eyes yet open while you're facing the other way? And I know that I'm asking for more than you can give, but isn't love just living like that? Take away the ache, make it over, make it. Remember, we could keep each other warm, but only if we don't remember, or turn it into dust. Apparently it's just a powder. It rises and it burns. of orange blossoms in the snow. I'll know it was you, and I'm coming soon. I don't wanna make you nervous, but it's right under the surface. While you look at your reflection, you're just falling away from everything. Can you see him holding? Can you see him holding now? And I'm not trying to make you nervous, but I think that we deserve this. Horse racing and me down until the muscle is thin. Look out, another body coming around the bend. Forget it, we're never gonna make it till the end. No, no. Horse racing and me down until the muscle is thin. Look out, another body coming around the bend. Forget it, we're never gonna make it till the end. We've been hiding in our habits. What do we think was gonna happen? Oh, someone else is always worse off. We're just finding our way, finding our way. Can you see I'm holding? Can't believe I'm holding out. And I'm not trying to make you nervous, but I think that we deserve this. Horse racing with me down until muscle is thin. Look out, another body coming around the bend. Forget it, we're never gonna make it till the end. No, no. Horse racing with me down until the muscle is thin. Look out, another body coming around the bend. Forget it, we're never gonna make it till the end. And the hardest part is telling myself I don't already know it's been falling apart since the day we started. Yeah! Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Falling away, falling away. Can you see I'm holding? Can you see I'm holding out? And I'm not trying to make you nervous, but I think that we deserve this. Na 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 na. Oh, I think that we deserve this now. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Now. Sodium and cigarettes. I'm a mess in every respect. Do I deserve what's coming to me? I was holding my breath every hour of the day, wishing you would come back, knowing you won't stay. But I believe in something more than what's in front of me. Okay, give it say, but I believe in something more than what you're telling me. Okay, give it another day. I'll see you in the morning. It's too late now to start taking it back, so I better be looking forward. In my dreams we were flying, now we're falling back. Is it too late now to start running? In my dreams we were flying, now we're falling back. And it's too late now to start running. And it's too late now to start running. And it's too late now to start running.
All right, that was a beautiful, beautiful performance.
Thank
you so
you.
much for your work.
Thank you so much. You can probably tell we filmed it ourselves.
Yeah.
And that was it was a challenge. It was a fun challenge.
I liked the mirror shot of it.
Thank
that was
you.
cool.
I was pretty proud of that one.
Yeah.
I have so much more respect for film people now, having done that, because
Yeah.
it's really hard.
It
There's
is.
just there's so much to think about, like with the angles and the lighting, and so we were troubleshooting that for a long time. But I'm happy with how it ended up.
You know, I'm glad you said that, because we've been doing the KEXP live at home sessions for over a year now, and it's been such a learning process the whole time, and I can't wait, because I know it's a lot to ask for artists to film their own performances, to have something to share, and you know what I mean. And I know it's a mutually beneficial thing. But I can't wait till we can like actually have you guys like have bands here in this room, so you don't have to think about filming or editing, you know. Just come and do the music and we can have conversations, you know. So
I would
it's
love
coming
that
very
someday,
soon.
I hope. Yeah.
Yes. Let's talk about the music, because you started your set off with the first song that I heard from the album, which also very much caught my attention. It's the song "Take Away the Ache." You had a lyric in there. You said, "Nobody's gonna save me," and I have to say, just hearing that sentence in a love song, it means a lot to me. It makes me think of Bell Hooks, in her series All About Love. You know, she talks about how knowing no one's coming to save us can be a very liberating feeling and thought. You know, what does that lyric mean to you?
Well, I think that I find myself thinking a lot about independence and interdependence, and how we experience both things, how it's a necessity. How do we protect both things, both both experiences are really sacred and important. So, being in this relationship that I'm in, Zack and I got married in 2019, and this song was written shortly after that.
Oh, congratulations. That's
Thank
beautiful.
you. Yeah, I'm glad it was pre-pandemic.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, really wanting to explore that line between, maintaining my sense of self or understanding that I am an autonomous being while also engaging in what is the deepest love I've ever known. And, a partnership forever. But also that line, nobody's going to save me. It's a sentiment that's echoed throughout the record, because it's also about, having to take accountability for your own life. And you can feel the love and support of people around you as you're navigating what it means to be alive. But ultimately, like, we are living our own experiences. And I think it's important to derive strength from that, from that realization.
Yeah, thank you for that, because I feel like, in conversations and in songs and media where, folks talk about love, that's something that doesn't get talked enough about, how we've got to have love for ourselves, first and foremost. And that makes the whole relationship stronger, and I really appreciate the way you talk about it. There's actually another quote I wanted to ask you about. This is something I just read actually in an interview. I think the interview might have come out today. And it's about the song Fabric. You were talking about how in writing that song, you had forgotten how to be alone because your partner brings you out into the greater world. Can you say more about that? Because I think relationships where people don't isolate, but they actually like bring each other out more into the world is really important and not talked about enough.
It's kind of a cheeky song, Okay. I had someone say to me like, "Oh, interesting that you started with such a depressing song as the first track." And I didn't mean it that way. I mean, I think it's, it's kind of funny. Like, it's basically saying like, how dare you make me a more, loving person? Like, sometimes when we're in our darkest moments, like, we just want to retreat. And songwriting has been a space of solitude for me my whole life. I came to it at a young age as a space to explore. Really, my parents' divorce was like the kind of catalyst. So it's always being in a room like this with my instruments has always been like this cave, this cocoon space. But introducing this other person into my life very intimately and powerfully, I still, of course, have that space to write music in, but it's made me so much more open and connected. I mean, I don't really have I don't want to shut myself off completely. So it's really quite a beautiful thing when someone reaches into your darkness and draws you out into the light.
Mm-hmm. It is beautiful. Even just hearing you say it in that way, you mentioned starting making music when you were young. Can I ask like what some of your early influences are? Because when I listen to you, it's hard for me to guess,
Lots of different things. So my dad is a musician, and we would gather with the family at our cabin in Maine in the summers and basically had this family songbook. I mean, we still do. We get together and we sing like the same 5 songs.
Nice.
It's really sweet. So among that, a trove of songs, Joni Mitchell. I feel like that's got to be the starting point.
I hear that now that you say it. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
What an astounding songwriter, and just
absolutely.
and so open. Her openness and playfulness with her chords and melodies, that really spoke to me from a young age. And then also Tori Amos was a really, really big one, with her amazing piano playing and also very adventurous in melodies. I'm thinking like there's sort of this thread of artists that I listened to when I was younger, these women who expressed things so vulnerably and beautifully, but with such power. So I think that kind of weaseled its way into my psyche early on, and those were my two big inspirations for sure.
Very, very powerful, very great inspirations right there. And yeah, you saying that the powerful vulnerability, that's definitely like what connects me to your music and why I immediately was drawn in as well. So thank you for that. You know, I wanted to ask you about the album before this, Caretaker, because I know it came out, just over a year ago?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, March 2020.
Yeah, so you're just working right now. And on that album, you're talking about taking care of someone as they were going through a very deep struggle. Can you talk about doing that care work and how you balance it with self-care now?
Mm-hmm. Well, so The Caretaker was actually more about the self. That record, I wrote it at a time when I was absolutely at my lowest in terms of feelings of self-worth. It was a rough time of really kind of hating myself, which was just an awful feeling. And because I'm a very introspective songwriter, I knew what I was doing. I knew that I was like sort of eroding myself by treating my body and my mind in this way and by viewing it as this thing that I didn't love. So thinking about, the soil that I wanted to grow from, that soil was depleted and I needed to reintroduce the right nutrients to like get things to grow again. So that's what that record was really about. And then it was interesting. I had just finished, I think we were mixing The Caretaker in the fall of 2019. And that's when someone close to me was going through, they were getting sober. And I now at that point found myself in this other caretaking role. So it was interesting after, having to really look at myself and build up the inner soil to come from a place of strength in order to better love other people. I was immediately met with that challenge and that sort of call to arms of like, can you be there for this person, or how can you be there for this person and help them while also like holding back the floodgates in yourself and like creating some boundaries so that you don't also fall apart. And that's what Mythopoetics was really navigating through. I'm not so good at putting up the boundaries. It's hard when you want to help and take care of and take away the ache. But nobody's going to save me. No one's going to do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. So it's this really tricky thing to navigate about being alive and being in love and being in relationship with people.
Yeah, absolutely. As you're speaking about it, I'm just like, wow, like some of your admissions, even in the interview, are something very brave. Like it would be hard for a lot of people to say, like, yo, I was in a dark place where I just was hating myself. It's really hard for your process of healing, or even just maybe healing's not the right word. Maybe it's like moving through it so you can get to some healing. Is it just music, or are there other skills that you've picked up to move through it?
Music is absolutely like the biggest one for me, and always has been, as I mentioned, when I came to it in my adolescence. Music as alchemy, as, transformation. And that's why, I know that the that the songs that I write are often like quite dark or heavy, but I don't feel that in my life. Like I don't, if I do feel it, it goes into a song, but that's the vehicle. It can carry that. It can carry the weight that like I don't want to hold. I want to show up for people. I want to be optimistic and buoyant and and joyful. My name, Ananda, means divine joy.
Ooh, say that.
So I, try to live up to that and embody it. And in order to do that, I have to go pretty deep and dark in the songs. But the other, sort of the other side, or the other element that fuels me and fuels this transformation, is nature. Absolutely. Being in nature, learning from nature. We moved upstate like 4 years ago. And, we have like this morning I was sitting outside and there's like baby fawns running through, and it's real like a Snow White scenario.
For people that have never been to upstate New York, you would be so surprised, like looking at New York City and then knowing that like most of the state is an actual forest with like animals and creatures and streams and mountains. It's wild. Like I tripped out the first time I went upstate. Like, what? This is the same state?
It's pretty magical. And I grew up not far from here in Western Massachusetts. So a very similar landscape. Very forested and lots of meadows and birds. And so, especially this last year and a half of the pandemic, spending a lot of time at nature preserves, which is just like the greatest kindness. Like the two greatest kindnesses of this world, I think, are nature preserves and libraries. It's like, here's this free resource for you to enjoy life and learn.
Yeah, I like it. If I could ask you a real simple question that you're probably tired of answering, but I feel like I have to ask, for the people that don't know, can you break down what your artist name means and why you chose it?
Okay.
Because I like hearing you talk about it.
Cool. Also, can you hear the train that's going by right now?
I can.
Yeah. So I was going to say we have baby fawns in our yard, but we also have a freight train that goes through our yard.
That's awesome.
So there's that duality. And in fact, I'm about to talk about duality. Half Waif has a few different meanings for me. One kind of on the surface being I'm half Indian, and that identity of being half is something that I've always, thought about and carried with me. What does it mean to have a foot in two different worlds? I also feel that in, my love of nature and the woods, but also in my love of cities and travel. And the city, or the town where my family has the cabin in Maine that I mentioned, is called Forest City. And I actually have a tattoo. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little hard to show you, but it's a skyscraper and a tree. So Forest City. So there are all these like little dualities in my life that I find really interesting, residing in the contrast. But the term half waif, I have to give credit to my friend Charlie. In college, this is funny, but in college we were chatting and I was lamenting the fact that I, didn't have a partner and like all these relationships didn't work out. And, I was really into like these kind of wafy guys. He's like kind of like little guys. And I don't know. So Charlie one day was like, Nandi, like, you've got to stop, going after all these waifs. We've got to find you a half waif. And so about a year or so later, when I was starting my project, I don't know, that name came back to me. And I decided to take it for myself. And I would become the half waif.
Okay.
Become the half waif that you need in your life.
Hilarious. I actually didn't know that was a part of the story. That's amazing.
It was also very Googleable. That's important when you're coming up with your band name. I was like, half waif, and like, it wasn't a thing. So
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I definitely can relate. You know, just when I looked at it, I was like, oh man, like being from more than one place, living in that space of in between. You know, home meaning multiple places and multiple things. Like all of that's all very true in my life as well. So it was another reason.
Yeah, I guess I didn't mention that part of it, but yeah, the idea of a waif being someone who doesn't have a home, but in fact, I feel like I have so many homes that sometimes when your heart is in so many places, you almost feel like, where am I tied to? So not a full waif, but a half waif in that regard.
Yeah, it's very relatable. I got to ask one more simple name question that you might be tired of answering, but the name of the album, I love, Mythopoetics. It reminds me of another writer who I'm going to name drop right now. I love name. This is my secret. This is my secret reading rainbow kind of thing I try to do with these interviews. You know,
drop it in there.
But it reminded me of Audre Lorde with Zami, the biomythography. You know, what does the title Mythopoetics? Where does it come from for you, and what does it mean for you?
I'm glad you asked that. I feel like I haven't been asked it enough. I like really want to talk about it because
it's such a good album name.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I was looking for a name for a while. I find it so frustrating when I don't have a name early on in a project because it's like it's like you have a baby and it doesn't have a name. And you're like, I want to call you something. So it was last summer. We were up in Maine, in Forest City, and I was reading this book that my best friend's mom had given me. This is a little bit of a long story, but I want to tell it because it meant a lot to me. This book is called The Indigo Bunting, and it's a sort of biography about Edna St. Vincent Millay, who is a poet that I wasn't that familiar with. But my friend's mom, she's a birder like me, so loves birds and is also a poet. And the indigo bunting is one of my favorite birds. So anyways, she knew that this book would resonate with me. And as I'm reading, I realized, oh my God, Edna St. Vincent Millay, her house is 15 minutes from our house here upstate. So another connection. And then I'm reading and she summered in Maine. And it's like all these like interesting connections were coming up with this incredible woman, this bird-loving poet. And this whole book is just painting this beautiful image of her. And the author described her at one point as having a mythopoetic presence. And I read that. I was like, that's it. Mythopoetics. And so, you know when you come to something in your life and you just know that it's going to teach you something. Like, I don't know if you've had that experience, like being in a place or picking up a book, you just like, there's some kind of energy that emanates, so you become really attuned. You have like your radar
your spidey senses activated.
Exactly. That's the word I was looking for.
There you
have
go.
your spidey senses up. And so you're ready to catch it. And I love that word, mythopoetics, myth and poetry. And I also liked that it was almost this kind of like dense, like academic title. Like it sounds like it could be a literary journal.
Or a genre of writing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Which kind of appealed to me because the music is so personal and so based on like my family stories and my own stories. And I liked the idea of broadening it in the title to invite more people in. I actually, for a while, I was toying with the name, Forest City Songbook, or like something that was like more about my family specifically. But it felt right to gain a little bit of distance and separation, and then also like open the door wider for other people to bring their own stories in, their own myths and poetry.
Yeah. I love the way you talk about music as alchemy and doing something so personally, but knowing that, there's an element of like alchemizing it so other people can connect and even writing something so personal. But when you call it a myth, it's almost, it implies that you can write your own story. You can write your own future. You can write your own everything, so.
What a powerful tool, that realization that you don't have to live in the narratives that have been imposed on you or that you've imposed on yourself. It's so liberating.
Absolutely. What do you hope that people get the most from your new album?
I love that question. Thank you. I hope that people feel a sense of hope and joy through listening, and I hope they let themselves go to those dark places that exist in all of us and that exist in our families. I hope they feel less alone, as I do when I'm writing and sharing this music. I hope they move through that darkness and see it as a hand extending toward them, bringing them into the light.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. That said so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for that intention, for your work. I think it's healing. I hope it's healing for you. I think it's healing for a lot of other people that tune in.
Thank you.
Anything else coming up on the way? We got tour dates coming up. Like what's next for you?
Tour dates. Oh,
yes.
I'm very excited. What? And we'll get to tour The Caretaker too, since that record never got a tour. So we will be doing that in November, some US dates, and hopefully Europe early next year, but we'll see.
Sounds great. And where can people find these tour dates? The website, anything?
Website, half-waif.com. I did have halfwaif.com at one point. I let the domain lapse accidentally. A Japanese pill company swooped in, as they do, and I lost it. So half-waif.com.
There you go. Thank you so much for your time, your energy. It's been a pleasure. It's KEXP, live at home. Half Waif.
Thank you, Gabriel.
Thank you.
Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.